Okay, here we are, episode 2 of Read a Classic Novel Together, which is also the second and final episode of our going over Jean Rhys's Wide Sargasso Sea. Oh, where that's
And I just want to issue this warning that I am underprepared. I have read the book completely. I have not reviewed the book. It's been a month at least. I took no notes, so I am not living up to, my own standards. I'll just throw that out there.
Well, we are not paid for this.
That's true.
Anyone who would like to pay us, we would take payment, but
I won't. If I am paid for this, I will donate to. I'm going
to start a Patreon page and demand payment of some kind.
Oh my God!
No matter how ill prepared we are, but I don't think I'm sure you're not ill prepared.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, and we originally thought we were going to do just part 2, but part 3 is so skinny that we decided to go ahead and finish the book. So now we have read one of the classic novels of the 20th century.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to read it for quite a long time and have been slightly embarrassed that I hadn't gotten to it.
Right.
And I really admire the structure of it. And it's something I might take away for my own writing if I ever write a novel. But I like the continued action and shifting of point of view with some overlap, in time. So we get a little bit, we backtrack a little, don't we, in Rochester's point of view, but then it kind of moves forward. So I think the pacing is pretty taut.
Yeah. And it's a short book. It covers a lot of ground for a short book.
It does.
So, I mean, we start off when she's like, what did we say she was, 14 or 12, something like that? It's not clear, but she's very young. And it ends with, they get married when she's maybe like 20, 24.
Something like that.
And then it goes all the way to England in the last bit and to basically the end of her life, it's implied, when she burns the house down in Gothic fashion. So, yeah.
Echoing that, what happened with her mother in her childhood home.
Right. Nice. And the local folk decided to burn them out and almost kill them all. I cheated a little. I read the Wikipedia page last night on this. And apparently the only reason, according to the Wikipedia page, I don't remember this, but does the parrot die when they're about to burn the house out? And
I think so. That sounds right. Yeah.
And the local people take that as a bad omen, so they don't kill everybody. I did not remember that, but they escape death very narrowly. The little brother does die. The mother basically goes insane after the little brother dies. And as you say, the whole book is coming full circle when Antoinette's going to go insane with the guy she hates. Although she doesn't hate him initially.
No, they seem to kind of like each other. They're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems very taken with her physical beauty and the physical beauty of the, place, which I guess is the Dominican Republic before it was Dominica. Yeah, I mean, part 2 starts off with them on their honeymoon, and I did reread a little bit of it to get it back in my head. But they have this kind of blissful, idyllic experience for like 5 minutes. And then at some point, but I mean, even then, I noticed rereading it, there's little hints, that he's not quite down with everything that's going on around him,
Right. Yeah, he didn't.
Go ahead.
He didn't have much choice in the matter, right? He was sort of forced into marrying for money because he's the second son.
Right.
That weird system of the British aristocracy. So he doesn't really have a lot of freedom or choice. I
Right.
suppose. Although I guess he could just run off and join the Navy if he wanted to.
One would think,
Yeah.
just as one would think that she could run off, and Christophine suggests that to her at one point
Yeah.
when she goes to visit Christophine. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying that I was trying to figure out, at what point does everything start to go bad? And it seems like it's a little bad even from the very beginning because he doesn't like the servants because they're black, and he really doesn't like Christophine because he thinks she's vulgar and thinks too much of herself, and he doesn't like the way she doesn't lift her dress when she walks around. And I like how Antoinette states that that's actually deliberate. She does that to show that it's not the only dress she owns. She doesn't have to worry about it too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like the whole second part is setting up this conflict between Christophine and Rochester, whose name we never learn, right? His first name?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear Rhys doesn't want us to like him that much.
Yeah.
Even though we sort of do. I sort of did. I felt sorry for him.
Yeah. Hearing it from his point of view, I mean, in this context, you get a fuller picture. But it seems like things really started to go south when Antoinette's half-brother comes around and kind of poisons Rochester's mind and said, she's crazy like her mama. She's going to go crazy.
And you've been cheated. He implies that Rochester's been tricked into marrying this evil, crazy woman of bad birth, of questionable birth. And that's right. I looked at that section a lot, and after I reread it, I started thinking this, Rochester is basically Othello. I mean, this is just like Othello. He's got some genuine love for this woman, but he's got a screw loose in his own personality. He feels, some paranoia and self-doubt about himself because, as you say, his dad likes his brother better, and his brother hates him too. It's implied. So Daniel somehow is able to use all that paranoia and self-doubt and self-loathing and, fan the flame of it and create this tragedy. Basically, it's a tragic novel. He, from no evidence. I mean, just like Othello has no evidence that Desdemona is cheating on him, Rochester really has no evidence that, that Antoinette is crazy or evil or any of that. Just chooses to believe it because he's got a dark personality. He's got a twisted personality.
And then his treatment of her kind of hurries her down that path.
Right. The self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
She ends up being crazy, which I don't know. That to me was the hardest part of the novel to buy. Because she seems so smart and she's so vibrant in the first part of the book. And Christophine tells her, just run away. And she says, I can't run away. They'll just force me to come back, the sheriff or whatever. And I sort of believe that. But at the other hand, I think she could try. She could just take a ship, go to Boston, start a new life, join the American whatever. American experience, become a barkeep,
as a woman, could she travel by herself without being molested?
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, she would probably be treated like a prostitute, right?
I think so.
I mean, maybe she could pass herself off as a governess or something. I don't know. But, or maybe she could become a prostitute. I mean, she could become Moll Flanders, she could escape that way. I don't know, maybe I'm being too hard because to me, that whole aspect felt, and even if she can't escape, would she really go crazy? I mean, it seems like she goes crazy after Rochester sleeps with the servant girl or has sex with the servant girl right outside her bedroom, which Christophine nails him on because clearly he knows he's doing it. That's his way of murdering the marriage, essentially. And after that, Antoinette's off a rocker. But still, it felt a little little melodramatic, a gothic, I guess. It is a gothic novel.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's knowingly a gothic novel.
Yeah, there was no other outcome for her.
Right. Not unless you rewrite Jane Eyre.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of that.
The alternate version of Jane Eyre.
Yeah, some
The
fan.
John Wick version of Jane Eyre.
Yeah, let's get some people. Let's get a fan fiction thing going. Let's find a way to write Antoinette out of this.
Yeah, let's get her out. I mean, obviously, I'm naive and a romantic, I guess. I always feel like there's some way out.
Mm,
Whereas I
right.
guess a more realistic reading would say, no, this is inevitable. This is how it's going to turn out for her.
Yeah. Right. Or just it would be a bad end in some other way. Maybe more of her choosing. Well, this is a choice too, right? So, so that we talked about the parataxis in the first section, in Antoinette section, and that sense of urgency that it creates, like everything is equally as important. So we're just going to string it along with commas because
Right.
it's really important and urgent. And it's her story. It is really important and urgent.
Yeah.
And then all that stops in Rochester's section. It's like short declarative sentences. Everyone has like the weight of a stone, and in that style, I can almost feel his personality like hardening around all these circumstances. Daniel talking down his half sister and poisoning his mind, and those sentences. They're just like closing off around him and his personality and hardening it.
That's true. I had thought about that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, the shift in style between those two characters. It's really nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, especially, now that you say that, I had been noticing that, language is a big deal for him. He's a very proper, his brain has been hardwired to think like that in proper English sentences. And he even talks about how, I had it marked somewhere that Antoinette talks to the servants in that debased French patois or whatever it is. It's very, very contemptuous of their language.
But Antoinette's code switching, like she can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Christine says at one point that you're jealous of her. That Rochester is jealous of her.
Mm-hmm.
She's so full of life, and he's ultimately. I mean, when I first read it, I was thinking, okay, is this whole book just about what an uptight, sexually oppressed jerk Rochester is?
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started to think, no, it's more of a tragedy, about how, his darkest impulses, he kind of gives into them. But
yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but it is. I mean, it's, more tragic for her, obviously, the outcome, but yeah. You could kind of see him dying as a person.
Yeah, right. He's essentially kind of an emotional husk by the end of part 1. And we don't even see him in part 3, do we? I mean, does he even show up? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It's mostly just Antoinette and that servant lady, the governess or whatever the hell she is, that takes care of her.
Right,
like a nurse. Can't remember her name, but
yeah. She falls asleep, right? Antoinette kind of waits for her moment.
She gets drunk every night, falls asleep, and go figure. But for me, the whole third act to me is just kind of feels kind of tacked on. I don't know, maybe a little bit. It still works, but I still feel sorry for Antoinette, but he doesn't have the force of the depth of the bulk of the novel.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess we get to see her having some agency. From Jane Eyre, you think about she's just this mad woman and she doesn't even know what she's doing, but in fact, she does know what she's doing and she plans. So there's that. I mean, that's her choice, and rather than just a mad impulse that she does, she doesn't even understand. It's
Mhm.
deliberate and planned, and somehow, I mean, that makes it worth being there, I suppose.
Yeah,
If you can defend it, I would defend it that way, that she has agency. She
that's a good
makes,
point. And it's a kind of victory, I guess.
yeah,
Does she intend to kill herself, or she just intend to burn the house down?
I don't know.
It's not clear. I don't think it's clear. But
I don't know.
it's a wicked good book. I mean,
Mhm.
um, you know, I hadn't even thought about it as clearly as you had about the changing styles, but the prose in general is just really super strong.
Mhm.
Great eye.
Mhm.
Um,
Given everything we just said about Rochester, why is Jane Eyre so excited to get him in Jane Eyre? I mean, given her circumstances, I suppose she felt like she hit the jackpot, but she really has affection for him
right.
by the end of the book. She might be the original Manic Pixie Dream Girl by the end of the book. At the beginning, she isn't a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but by the end, she is. I think she's Rochester's,
I
you
am
know.
unfamiliar with the term Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
No?
No,
Oh, Ashley,
I'm
what have you been doing with yourself?
I don't know. I don't know. I live in a cave. What can I say?
So it's the female character in like movies or TV shows, who's really just there to like, brighten up the sad sack male's existence.
Okay.
Like the Zoe Deschanel in God, what is the name of that show? Oh, the New Girl.
Okay.
You remember that show? I think she's considered
The
the
epitome.
pixie dream girl there.
Or Pretty Woman, I guess, is a little bit like that, right?
Oh, yes, it is. You're right.
Just
Yeah,
the really vivacious, beautiful prostitute who
yeah. It shows
lightens up.
the guy how to be a human being.
Yeah, takes him to the opera or whatever.
It makes him feel,
Alive. Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Now you know the trope. And
Okay.
I think Jane Eyre is Rochester's Manic Pixie Dream Girl in the end.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, having never read Jane Eyre, my guess is that, just like every other book, eventually every classic novel gets an alterna version. There's alterna westerns, there's alterna, everything gets a 20th century modern
Mhm.
reboot of it.
Mhm.
Battlestar Galactica, modernist,
That
dark
is
reboot.
classic.
Sexually, charged reboot. Everything gets a reboot, and this is kind of like Rhys's reboot of Jane Eyre, in which the hero is the villain, and the hero, or the sympathetic guy from the novel, is now kind of a villain.
Mhm.
Crazy,
He was kind of
lady
a crusty jerk. He was kind of a crusty jerk in Jane Eyre.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But they get married they end up together, right? At the
Yeah,
end.
they do. Yeah. And
So,
there's like a very sweet, affectionate ending. And I think he goes half blind or fully blind in the fire or something.
oh, okay. So she can
Yeah.
take care of him. Yeah.
Yes, she can take care of him and make fun of him
Right. And he can't hit her.
affectionately.
He can't quite see her. So, yeah.
No,
He can't get a good pop.
no, no.
So, well, that's good. That's so Rochester has that to look forward to in his
Mhm.
so
Maybe it's a little bit of a redemption story for him when you take this as the first part, Wide
right.
Sargasso Sea as the first part.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Does he deserve it? Does he
I
deserve redemption?
no, I would say no.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I would rewrite this as a adventure story, and where
Yeah.
she runs off and goes to Boston, and
Yeah.
and remarries. And,
Do it. Do it.
yeah, no,
No?
too much research. I can't do the research thing.
Yeah. I think there would have to be a montage of somebody showing Antoinette how to use pistols and knives if she's going to actually make the sea voyage without
Yeah.
becoming enslaved or prostituted or something.
She has to learn kung fu.
She's got to learn everything, like how to defend herself.
Yes, that would be my version. Apparently there has been a movie made out of it. It's supposed to be kind of an erotic. I'm doing the air quotes thing.
Okay.
It's supposed to be. I think it got like an NC-17 rating.
When was it made?
In the 90s, I think. I think it's an Australian film, but having seen, not the movie, but seeing that it was made into a movie, it sort of makes sense. I feel like this is a very sexually charged book, despite having no sex in it, explicit sex or anything.
There's more to it, though. I wonder if they managed to get at everything else that's interesting.
Probably not. I mean, I don't think it was like an exploitation film or anything, but their entryway into it was through the erotic potential of the story, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's a honeymoon partly, so.
And doesn't she kind of have something going on with the guy when she's younger, Sandy? Maybe I can't.
I don't know.
It's glossed over if it's there, but at one point she mentions, or at one point Rochester hears something about Sandy, and that's one of the first moments where he seems to get a little paranoid.
Oh,
like maybe she's not a virgin or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, I'm really glad to have read it.
Me too.
Yeah, so it was a good choice. You chose it, and it was a good choice.
Thank you.
So
maybe we'll read some of her other books.
Possibly, yes. I think we should. Move on, share the wealth.
Yep.
Videos, but yeah, I might. But this is her last book, right? This is the one that made her famous when she was fairly old.
Yeah,
like my age. Yeah. So, yeah, I would be interested to read some of her other books.
Me too.
So,
who's next, do you think?
I don't know. I was thinking. Well, I mean, there's some 19th century books that I've always wanted to read that I have always kicked me in the butt. Well, Middlemarch, but you've read Middlemarch, haven't you?
I haven't read Middlemarch.
Well,
let's read Middlemarch.
Want to try Middlemarch?
Yep.
I mean, everybody says it's the shit, so we should let's try Middlemarch.
Okay, yeah. I'll do it. I mean,
right,
it might take me a while.
Yeah, me too. We'll have to read it we'll have to do many short videos.
Okay.
But I mean, I have attempted it. I don't think I've made it past the first few pages.
I've never cracked the spine.
Okay. And,
I'm pretty sure we have a copy.
Yeah, or you can download it for free on like Kindle or whatever.
Oh.
Well, not free, for like $1,
Yeah. I don't really like reading on screens because I do so much of that for work.
Oh, you don't have a tablet?
No, I have my little phone, my iPhone 6 SE, which I've dropped in the toilet once, and it still works great.
It's rated for toilet. Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it's not deep enough. The toilet is not deep enough to throw the iPhone off its game. And I've got a MacBook Air, which is really tiny.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, I mean, I have a Kindle, and I have an Android tablet too. But however, you can buy it cheaply. Used bookstore will have it.
I bet the library has it.
Sure, the library will have it. It's one of the.
I'm gonna get it from the library. Is it a big fatty? Is it a big fat book?
I think it's probably about. I think it's about like a third longer than this.
Oh, okay.
Maybe longer. Maybe shorter. That narrows it down. But yeah, I don't remember it being like a doorstop. I think it's a regular size, probably 100,000 words.
Okay.
So yeah, okay. So same time next year, the dear viewer will have to join us for the first, say, third of Middlemarch, or we'll announce it on the video.
Yeah, maybe March. Would March be a good time to start talking about Middlemarch?
Yeah, that'll be post many things in our lives.
Maybe late March. Yeah.
Late March, Middlemarch, not Middlemarch, but late March. So there's thousands of fingers hitting the stop button right now.
Right.
Okay. Well, we'll have a good one. A good February, Margaret.
Oh, thanks.
I know you've got a lot of grading to do. I hope it goes well.
Oh, yeah, not so much grading now. I have something else to finish up.
Oh,
But thank you. It was fun chatting with you.
good. Same here. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, wish Kathy luck for me.
Thanks, and give my best to Billy.
I will. Okay, bye, Ash.
Bye bye.